Welcome back inside Regency Furniture Stadium. Andrew Banstra here with Austin Rooney for Game 2 of a doubleheader here at Regency Furniture Stadium. Austin, Game 1 was just unbelievable. To be perfectly frank, from my perspective, a little bit of a not boring game, but a defensive game for sure. And then all of a sudden, at the very end, here comes Joe DeLuca. What an incredible contest.
Yeah, well, the Blue Crabs trailed 2-1 for the vast majority of this game. They took a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first, but shortly thereafter, the FerryHawks, 2 runs in the top of the third, a sacrifice fly and an RBI single, and it looked like that would be all. Bottom of the 7th inning, 2 outs, 2 strikes, runner on first base, and a 2-run shot on a line drive off the bat of Joe DeLuca hitting his 4th home run of the season.
Really hot start for Joe DeLuca, a guy that started the season with the AAA affiliate of the Cincinnati Reds with the Louisville Bats. He starts at catcher once more. With that being said, let's give you those starting lineups, beginning with the visiting Staten Island FerryHawks. Batting first, the center fielder, Antoine Duplantis, who steps up right now. Batting second, the second baseman, Stephen Alamace. Batting third, the third baseman, Angel Aguilar, followed by the first baseman, Dilson Herrera, as Alex Merrithew's first pitch of the night is in there for a called strike. Merrithew getting his first start of this 2022 season. Batting fifth, the right fielder, number 38, Mario Batista. Alfredo Reyes bats sixth, playing shortstop. Junior Santana bats seventh, the designated hitter. Joseph Monhay bats eighth, the left fielder. And the catcher, Brian Gonzalez, bats ninth. Pitcher on the mound for the FerryHawks, Eddie Reynoso. As Duplantis lofts one to the left side, back goes Jack Sundberg. Make it Jared Walker, I should say.
The Blue Crabs do have Sundberg out there and left today.
Whole bunch of rotations going around. With that being said, let's get to the starting lineup for the Blue Crabs. Like you just mentioned, in left field, it's Jack Sundberg. Batting second at shortstop is Michael Wilansky. Batting third, the first baseman, Jared Walker. The designated hitter, David Harris, bats fourth, followed by Alex Crosby, the third baseman. Zach Collier bats sixth, the center fielder, and 7, 8, 9 read as follows. It's the catcher, Joe DeLuca, the right fielder, Braxton Lee, and the second baseman, Ian Yetzko. Ball number 1 called to the second batter in this FerryHawks lineup as Stephen Alamace steps back up. This one comes up and in and hits him. He'll take a free pass off to first. And Austin, we haven't talked yet about the numbers for Alex Merrithew. The whip awfully low for the right-hander.
Yeah, it's sort of a tale of two stories between the ERA and the whip. The ERA coming into this game over 7 at 7.11, and then the whip at 1.26. So whip, that's a pretty strong whip at 1.26. If you're under 1.4 or so, it's pretty strong. But the ERA at 7.11, not at all on the same page as that whip.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And, I remember in 2019 we had so many discussions about walks plus hits per innings pitched and how it translates, generally at least, to earned run average. So it really presents an interesting scenario with Alex Merrithew, who offers strike number 1 called to the third batter in this FerryHawks lineup, Angel Aguilar. Southern Maryland will stay at home after this series with the FerryHawks. Game 4 is tomorrow. After this series, the Blue Crabs will host the Lancaster Barnstormers for the second time this season. Runner goes on the pitch, but a foul ball will make him retreat.
Yeah, the real reason that his whip is so low today, or right now, is that he doesn't walk a lot of guys. In fact, he's walked no batters in the season thus far.
Which is remarkable.
It really is. If you can have good enough control to not allow any walks, it makes a big difference.
So here is Alex Merrithew preparing for the 0-2 pitch to Angel Aguilar. Standing at first is Stephen Alamace here in Game 2 of a doubleheader as your Southern Maryland Blue Crabs play host to the Staten Island FerryHawks. Line shot down the third base line just outside the chalk, and will stay at 0-2.
Yeah, nearly extra base hits. Definitely a foul ball, though. That's very clear.
And Matt Latos is over there making sure that they know where it hit in foul territory, as one does.
He's right. He's right. But you don't always see one of your relievers go out there and point to the spot in foul territory after the umpire got the right call.
It's true. You don't see that all that often, but you got to love, the animation from the Blue Crabs closer.
You do.
Again, the Blue Crabs walked off the FerryHawks in Game 1. They were losing at the time, 2-1 with 2 strikes, 2 outs. Nobody make that one on in the bottom of the 7th inning before Joe DeLuca from the right side hit a 2-run line drive shot that got out of here in a hurry, Austin.
It did. It was a blast of a home run. It was a blast of a home run to call, so much so that I had a bit of a voice crack as well.
Well, that happens, especially on walk-offs. Austin, here's a really interesting note that I wanted to bring up to you on today's broadcast.
Go ahead.
Give it to you in just 1 second. The 0-2 once more from Alex Merrithew. A pitch out. Joe DeLuca with a fire down to second. It's a little bit offline. It gets into the outfield, giving Stefan Alamas the chance to get over to third. Advancing from first to third is the second baseman, and just like that, a runner at third for Alex Merrithew.
Yeah, he steals second. The throw was strong from the catcher, Joe DeLuca, but it was a little bit offline. It had the power to get there. It beat Alames, or beg your pardon, beat Duplantis, or it was Alames, and now he advances to third as the ball gets into center field.
So, Austin, we were talking the other night. There was an instance in one of the Blue Crabs games of a pitcher not knowing how many pitches or outs there were and walking off the mound, and we talked about, is that something that happens everywhere? And came to the conclusion we think it does. Well, last night, it might have been the night before, Tony Gosselin, who's been incredible in 11 starts, 7-0 this year for the Dodgers with a 1.680 ERA. Wow. He had 2 outs in the 7th inning as the pitcher and just walked off the field just to find out that there was only 2 outs. Soft chopper down the third baseline, foul. 1-2 goes the count.
It's definitely an embarrassing moment. No question about that.
It is. Especially, on a much larger scale, such as doing that at Dodger Stadium. But when you have the numbers to back it up, I think that Dave Roberts will be all right with that. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. And Angel Aguilar continues his long and drawn-out at bat. Infield in, a cue ball off the end of the bat of number 6 as it just dribbles back into foul territory, and we stay at 2-2. And it's going to be interesting, especially with longer counts like this, to see how that affects Alex Merrithew, Austin. This is a guy that hasn't started a game at all this season.
That's a good point, to see exactly how this ends up affecting him. He's somebody who's, he's been through baseball, been in baseball for a while, played in the Pecos League. He played in the American Association. He's certainly no rookie.
Merrithew on his way home with the 2-2. High, should stay in a throwable distance. Let's see if Zach Collier can come up gunning. He'll just hit his cutoff man. No attempt at the throw, so give Angel Aguilar a sacrifice fly as the FerryHawks take an early 1-0 lead here at Regency Furniture Stadium.
That'll be an unearned run attributed to Merrithew as Alames advances to third on the throwing error from the catcher, Joe DeLuca.
And it's my understanding, Austin, that you had the chance to talk with Alex Merrithew before the game. What is his approach coming in? Do you expect 2 innings out of him? It'll be a bullpen day, or is he trying to go all 7?
So I asked him about this. I said, so what's the plan? Do you want to go a couple innings? Do you want to go the full game? It's the exact same question I asked him, and he said, as long as everything goes right, I want to go deep in this one. So don't expect it to be 2 innings and him getting out of here.
See if Merrithew can keep it going. You mentioned that 1 run is unearned, and here's Dilson Herrera. Herrera hits one to the right side, pretty shallow, bringing in Braxton Lee, who ranges about 40 feet in front of him and snags it for out number 3. The FerryHawks scratch one across in their half of the first. They leave nobody stranded, didn't get a hit, but did see a hit by pitch and an error turn into a run. That's how we flip it into the bottom of the first. When we come back, it's Eddie Reynoso on the mound for the FerryHawks on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Joe DeLuca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Eddie Reynoso takes the mound here in the bottom of the first. Reynoso here to face the top of the Blue Crabs lineup, which will start with Jack Sundberg. Sundberg to be followed by Michael Wolanski and Jared Walker. First pitch doesn't quite scratch its way across the zone, and Jack Sundberg works ahead in the count. 1 ball, no strikes. Second pitch of the at-bat, flared to the left side. If it stays fair, it's extra bases, and it's just inside the chalk line. Sundberg rounds first. He'll get to second easily. Now he's thinking 3. The left fielder is not able to get the throw in time as Monhay in the left field couldn't quite gun down Jack Sundberg. Austin, it's not so often that you see something in left field that maybe is going to be a single, probably a double, but maybe a foul ball. All of a sudden, a triple.
Yeah, so that one's just a high pop-up down that third base line, and it stays up a long time. Monhay can't quite get there. Then he overruns the ball. By the time he gets it in the corner, it looks like Sundberg's got an easy stand-up triple, but he threw a strike to third base. He almost got Sundberg. Either way, runner on third base with nobody out to get things started.
Line shot from Michael Wolanski on the first pitch will tie this ball game. Just like that, Southern Maryland, Austin, did not need a whole lot of time to get this thing back even as Wolanski gets an RBI single off of Eddie Reynoso. The story on Eddie Reynoso, the right-hander is 6 feet tall, 230 pounds, originally from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. This is his first year outside of affiliated baseball, but his most recent season of affiliated baseball was back in 2018. He reached as high as high A in the Boston Red Sox organization and has been playing foreign winter ball the last couple of seasons.
In the winter ball, I'm not sure it translates so well for major league clubs garnering interest. But what I will say is that it does something a little bit different. You can see guys get contracts in other countries and Latin American countries and play extremely well. I've got a couple of different notes on that in a couple moments.
Reynoso's pitch inside, fouled back 1-1.
Yeah, one player who really made his mark in the winter leagues was Joe DeLuca, who just hit the walk-off back in Game 1 of the doubleheader. He played in Panama. He was the MVP of the Panamanian League and then joined Panama's top club team to play in the Dominican Republic in the Caribbean World Series.
And, the other part of it, too, is, you can make some real money doing that. And,
exactly.
If you are in the minor leagues, it's a really good source of income in the offseason that doesn't involve finding a job outside of baseball.
And the Dominican Winter Leagues will have a ton of major league players, even stars play in their league.
I think Juan Soto and Vladdy Jr. both play in that league. Now, they don't play the whole season.
Well. And Acuna as well.
Which is just unbelievable.
So you get, it's not every game they'll play for just parts of the season, but it allows them to stay fresh so that when they get to spring training in, March or late February, they're not starting fresh.
Walker takes this pitch outside, 3 balls and a strike the count, make that 3-2. Here's an interesting question. Are you at all curious, or I guess curious would be the word, why MLB clubs don't put a clause in the contract saying you can't play in winter ball?
It's a great question. It's always one that's really been a little bit mesmerizing. Why would you let a guy you're paying $30 million a year play in a league that is not sanctioned like yours is?
Chopper to the right side. That'll at least get the runner to second. Reynoso with an underhand flip. And a sacrifice to second as Wolanski finds himself over there. Ground out from Jared Walker gives us 1 away here in the bottom of the first inning. It's interesting. Everybody remembers, or a lot of people remember, the story of Joba Chamberlain a couple of years ago. There's been tons of different stories, but he was playing basketball and I think tore something pretty bad and had to set out a whole season. There's clauses in people's contracts saying you cannot do X, Y, and Z. I don't know why one of them isn't the Dominican leagues, but I think it's really cool that it's not because they're able to do that. Here's David Harris, takes the first pitch as a ball.
It's a great question. It really is. I think that MLB teams might think, hey, if a guy's staying fresh in the offseason, it could help him in the next season. That's probably it, but why you couldn't just, take batting practice and the like, it's another question.
The whole story of MLB players playing in foreign countries has always been a little bit of a hot-button topic. Until the 90s, really, with Hideo Nomo, Japanese players weren't even allowed to come play in America. I don't know if you knew that, but
yeah,
pretty unbelievable. They were trying to keep all their talent home. Nomo kind of found a loophole in the system, worked with a couple of lawyers, one from America, the other from Japan, and found a way to basically force his retirement, and then he went to the Dodgers, and now you have the Ichiros and the Shohei Ohtanis of the world that have continued that. Hot shot to the right side. Shouldn't be too much of a problem in right, and it's not. Off the bat, Austin, it looked like it might have been extra bases, but able to get there in time for out number 2.
Yeah, well hit by David Harris. Looked like it might catch that right center field gap, but instead it's a line out to right.
8:10 the time. We've got a 7-inning game, back half of a doubleheader. Game 1 was a 3-2 Blue Crabs win, a walk-off in the bottom of the 7th inning, and here comes Alex Crosby. 6 games in the Atlantic League here today. 2 of them have already concluded, the first of which was this morning as Crosby takes inside. The York Revolution beat the Lexington Legends 11-0 this morning before the Crabs took their 3-2 win. The Genomes are in Lancaster, a 6-0 lead for Wild Health. Long Island's in High Point. High Point winning 3-0 in the middle of the 6th. And Charleston is in Gastonia. Gastonia on top 6-3. Crosby with a soft chopper to the right side. The first baseman will take it himself. He steps on first, and that's how we say goodbye to the first inning of baseball. The Crabs get a couple of hits, but they strand one. Michael Wolanski drives in Jack Sundberg to get us to a 1-1 score. Take it to the second when we return on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Matt Latos, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. This is Patrick Baker, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Into the top of the second we go here at the Reg in Waldorf. Alex Merrithew out for his second inning of work. Merrithew allowed 1 run in the first inning, but it was unearned. He hit a batter that advanced all the way to third on an errant throw from Joe DeLuca before that run was scored. As we take things into the second, leading off will be Mariel Batista in his first at-bat of Game 2. Number 38 stands in the right-handed batter's box. First pitch, a touch high, and that's how Merrithew's second inning of work comes. What have you seen from Alex Merrithew so far in his first start of the season, Austin?
So far, he ran up and in on the second batter, Alamase, and sort of cost him, but he allowed a fly out to left, a fly out to center, a line out to right. I mean, nothing's been crazy hard hit, and he hasn't allowed a base hit yet. He's allowed a run, but it was an unearned run.
And the hits have been the problem for him this season, so anytime you can say there's not going to be a free pass or a hit, you're going to be looking good. Foul ball right back into the protective netting, and the count 1-2. Austin, you got any trivia questions for us for Game 2?
We're going to have some trivia questions. Again, it's Bark in the Park, so there are more dog questions coming your way.
What, did you have one in Game 1?
We did. We had a question in Game 1. It was submitted by Paul Houck, Ryan Houck's father.
Okay.
It was a good one. It was about the lone Major League Baseball player from the New York Mets history who started the year in Class A and finished the season with the big league club.
I think I might know the answer to that.
Who's that?
Dilson Herrera.
It is.
It is.
Have you heard the answer prior or no?
Well, I have. Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Not on your broadcast, though. It was just an intern of ours, Brian Houck, mentioned it to me yesterday.
The same one whose father was the one who submitted the question.
Yes. Now, in fairness to me, I thought you said Ryan Haug.
Oh, no. Paul Houck.
Got it. Now, we have an intern named Brian Haug. That and Ryan Haug do sound relatively familiar. Chopper to the left side. It'll be a tough play for Crosby, but he doesn't have to worry about it. Touches it in foul territory, and we stay at a 2-2 count. Austin, it's a really nice night for baseball. It was really hot earlier in the day.
It was hot earlier in the day. It's a nice weather for a run. I'm not sure if we're going to get finished here early enough for me to get a run in. It's going to be pretty late by the time we're finished, but it is good weather. It's good baseball weather. It's good weather in general. And it sounds like it's good weather for ATVing because you hear some loud engines in the background. I think they're ATVs.
Yeah, I saw a couple passing the stadium yesterday. It must be that time of year.
Some of the guys do wheelies.
They do.
I can't say I'm a huge fan of it, but,
It's scary. It can be because you worry they're going to fall. Line
do.
drive to the shortstop, Wolanski, who catches for out number 1.
And it's also a feeling of you're sort of behind them in your car, right?
Right.
And not only are you worried they're going to fall, but if they're willing to do a wheelie, it's sort of the question of what else are they willing to do.
It's true. It's
So-
true. It's true.
I try to keep my distance when I see the guys doing wheelies in front of me.
I do too.
I'm like, you know what? You go out, you do that. I'm not going to get involved.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever partake, personally.
I won't either.
Top of the second inning here in Waldorf, Maryland. Andrew Banster with Austin Rooney on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. A 1-1 game, back half of a doubleheader. The Crabs evened up this contest in the bottom of the first when Michael Wolanski was able to get an RBI single. Ground ball up the middle, finds its way into the outfield, and Alfredo Reyes picks up the first FerryHawks hit of this contest.
Yeah, it was a strong start so far for Blue Crab starter Alex Merrithew. He allows that hit by pitch in the first inning that comes back to cost them, but here in the second gets the first out and the ground ball back toward the middle, and then it's a single. It's sort of a seeing eye single right at the middle, just past Merrithew's glove and in between Wolanski and Yetzko there at shortstop and second.
Staten Island came in hot into this series, having won 4 of their last 6, but Southern Maryland's taken the first 2 games of the set, securing, at the very least, Austin, not a series loss, yet another one.
Yeah, so the Blue Crabs coming into this one, 13 series win, 1 loss, 1 split. And so far, taking at least 2 of the games. They, of course, have a shot to win here in Game 2 and take the series officially. And of course, have tomorrow's game if they fall here in Game 2.
Have we done any magic number talk?
Not yet, but that number is down to 8 right now.
It is. Let's talk a little bit about that. So the magic number oftentimes can be confusing to some people, myself included, but I think I have a much better grip on it now as opposed to maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Essentially, we're just trying to tell you how close are the Blue Crabs to clinching. Now, the magic number is 8, Austin, like you said, but that can be comprised of a second-place loss or a Blue Crabs win. So theoretically, we're knocking on the door of that magic number of 8.
There are. Where it gets confusing is with regard to teams that are in third place potentially, and the effects that could have on them, because if they win and then they pass the second-place team, how that works with regard to the magic number. But, yeah, it is 8. That is factual, 100%.
Now, the Staten Island FerryHawks, Austin, were officially mathematically eliminated from the first half in the Atlantic League North Division with last night's loss.
Exactly. So the Blue Crabs picked up the win, and they were 19.5 back, Staten Island was, with 20 games to play. Now they're 20.5 back with 19 to play, so you can't make that up in any way.
It's true. Here's Alex Marathieu. Swing and a miss. Runner goes on the pitch. He's in time. But the man at the dish, in the form of Junior Santana, goes down swinging.
Hey, Junior Santana, I'm a big fan of that. You know, you hear in the U.S. a lot Junior.
You do.
But you hear Junior. That's the first one I've heard of that variety.
It's true. Runner at second gives way to Joseph Monhay. Monhay, the left fielder, showed off his arm when Jack Sundberg was able to leg out a triple back in the bottom of the first inning.
Really impressive arm. He didn't field the ball cleanly at all, but he threw a strike to third base. No hops.
First pitch, just off the zone, and Joe DeLuca wants to have a word with his man on the mound, probably talking about signs with a runner at second.
That was awfully quick. Maybe he had just like 2 or 3 words for him and headed back. Almost just said, keep it up, let's get going here.
Yeah, it's true. Oftentimes you wonder how much substance is really discussed during a mound visit as opposed to just being a mental break for the pitcher.
Exactly.
And that's why, you know, in 2019, Austin, it was so fascinating to see when the MLB Atlantic League rule change of no mound visits at all was put in play. You know, when guys got into a jam, it was really interesting to see them kind of out on an island out there as Ian Yetzko takes the short hop, fires to first, and it's good for out number 3. The FerryHawks pick up their first hit of the game, but they strand the runner on second base. We'll send things into the bottom of the second when we return on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Coach Doug's, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
American Radiology is the clear choice for all of your medical imaging needs. With locations in Charles and Calvert counties, they offer a full range of imaging services. Some of their latest innovations included 3D mammography and wide-open MRIs for our claustrophobic patients. For your convenience, they even offer extended weekday hours and Saturdays. For more information or to schedule an appointment, visit their website at AmericanRadiology.com.
This is Andres Riceno, and you are listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
The Crabs get another crack at it here in the bottom of the second, tied at 1-1. Alex Marathieu has yet to allow an earned run, allowed an unearned run back in the first. Southern Maryland will send up 6, 7, 8 here in the bottom of the second. Zach Collier leads things off with Joe DeLuca and Braxton Lee to follow. The numbers for Collier this season, Austin, not quite what they were last year, but over this past week, he's really been hitting the ball well.
Things really started to take off in Game 3 against Charleston, West Virginia, where he hit a pair of home runs, one in the 7th and one in the 9th.
Collier takes this one outside, 2-0.
And I think the thought here from Collier has to be that things are eventually going to come around. He hit 324 last year, and you don't hit an entire season at 324 with an OPS over 1,000 and just, go the complete other direction the following year. Eventually the numbers are going to come back to even out.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. If a guy has shown you time and time again, or even over the course of a full season, that he's able to put up numbers in a certain realm, you kind of expect him to get back to that point, especially with a guy like Collier that's still in his prime and still hitting the ball well. He's just, the strikeout numbers have been a little higher this year than years past.
Yeah, the OPS on its way back up to 797.
Swing and a miss. We're at 2-2. You mentioned it, though. Collier was top 3 in the Atlantic League last year in on-base percentage and slugging percentage. Not to mention a fantastic defensive player. He was named Southern Maryland's Defensive Player of the Year last year. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Collier with a number that hits off of his knee. That's the second time in this at-bat that he's had a foul ball hit off his knee. I was a little surprised, Austin, to see the Blue Crabs in dark-colored jerseys for Game 1 and Game 2. Not just because they're at home, but additionally because it's, at least for Game 1, it was very hot outside.
Yeah, well, I honestly didn't know they were going to change their jerseys at all. I thought they might keep the jerseys for the doubleheader, but clearly not.
You'll notice it's a little bit wet around the plate. That's because a cooler was thrown on top of Joe DeLuca right as he crossed home plate. So a little bit wet, but clearly, as you can see, it's been taken back to its regular shape. Great job by Ben Baker and our grounds crew. As a fastball misses low and inside, we're full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Eddie Reynoso back out for his second inning of work. Allowed 2 hits and a run back in the first inning. The right-hander working out of the stretch. The payoff pitch, just a touch inside, and Collier takes ball 4.
Remember, he was walked back in the 7th inning of Game 1, which allowed this batter, Joe DeLuca, to hit a 2-run shot.
One of the things for me with Collier is seeing more pitches. He's a guy that last year saw an astronomical number of pitches. Austin, he had a 7-game homestand where he averaged 10 pitches per at-bat. This is a guy that constantly gets into full counts, works walks, and the more you're able to do that, the more the zone works into your favor. Here's Joe DeLuca in his first at-bat since that walk-off home run about an hour ago. This time he shows bunt, pulls back. It's called ball number 1.
Well, Zach Collier faced 8 pitches in that first at-bat. Eddie Reynoso had 15 pitches in the first inning, despite the fact he ran into a lot of trouble.
DeLuca is able to really provide you a lot at the plate. Obviously, he shows us the power, but good bunting ability as well. This time looks like he's swinging all the way. High fly to the right side, should stay in the infield. Here comes Alames, who comes over and catches for out number 1.
Got a little under that ball. It was a hard swing, though. If that had been just slightly lower on that bat, might be out of the ballpark.
That'll give way to Braxton Lee. Lee, the right fielder, batting 8th for Southern Maryland. And here is the MLB veteran in Braxton Lee.
He played at the AAA level last year with the Louisville Bats. But he ran into a lot of trouble in Game 1.
Fastball misses outside, 1-0.
Yeah, a couple big moments. It was in the 4th inning, bases loaded, 1 out. Grounded back to the pitcher for a 1-2-3 double play, and then a strikeout in the 7th. But we can see some of the real ability he has, not only in the field, but he's also was up to over or nearly 300 earlier this year.
Yeah, it's true, and after a really slow start to the season for Braxton Lee, like you said, he really picked it up, ignited by a 4-for-4 game in Charleston. You know, it's interesting in that series as Lee swings over the pitch. We're at a ball and 2 strikes. In that series, the Blue Crabs started 2 for 27 at the plate, and all of a sudden in Game 3, Braxton Lee explodes and goes 4 for 4 in the contest. A ball and 2 strikes the count. Eddie Reynoso working out of the stretch in the pitch. Just staying alive is Braxton Lee, who fights off strike number 2 once more.
I talked to Braxton Lee about his time in Major League Baseball, and he said, you know, it was a little bit shorter than he would have liked. You know, he's got some memories, but he wants to just be back there. That's why he's, of course, still playing. That's why what every Atlantic League player's dream is, to get back to the big leagues someday.
It's true, and speaking of, as Braxton Lee hits one through the right side of the infield, Collier looking to go first to third, and he'll get there with ease. Just 1 out, and runners on the corners for Southern Maryland as Ian Yetzko comes to the plate. But we've got to mention, Austin, Michael Kelly, a 2019 Blue Crab, was just called up to the MLB for the first time in his career with the Phillies.
And he was a guy that had some AAA experience in the past, some AA experience, and his command is what really struggled throughout his career. At times, he'd had a number of years. He'd had more walks than he'd had innings pitched, and that was another issue he had back in 2019. He had about 50 walks in 60 innings, so not more walks than innings pitched, but far too many walks. In 2021, he had an opportunity.
As Yetzko skies one, should stay in the infield. In fact, it's in foul play. Back goes the catcher, Gonzalez, to snag it for out number 2. Brian Gonzalez with the catch.
Back to that point, though, in 2021, he had a strong year across AA and AAA. Here in 2022, his numbers actually not quite as good as they were in 2021, but better control, and he got his opportunity to go to the big leagues.
It's the third pitcher that is a former Blue Crab since 2018 that's made their MLB debut after pitching with the Blue Crabs. And oftentimes, Austin, you'll see guys that have MLB experience get back to the show, but it's a lot harder to do it where you're in affiliated ball, come here to the Atlantic League, and then work your way all the way up to the MLB. Runner goes on the pitch, and it's a stolen base for Braxton Lee. Now runners at second and third for Southern Maryland, and an even bigger opportunity for the man at the dish in Jack Sundberg.
I'm a little surprised that we didn't see any movement from Collier there after the throw was released from the catcher Gonzalez, and to see if Collier is going to try and score from third, but
Jack Sundberg fouls this one back 0-2 the count, and you'd really like to get both of these runs home with the speed on the base paths. Anything that touches the outfield grass should score a pair. That stolen base for Braxton Lee was his 7th of the season in 7 attempts. Sundberg preparing for the no balls, 2 strikes pitch. Here comes Reynoso. It's inside, 1-2 the count. Sundberg back in the first inning, hit a leadoff triple and later scored for Southern Maryland. Trying to give the Blue Crabs even more run support. We saw light action in the Blue Crabs bullpen moments ago. Somebody was just getting a little bit of band work in, getting that arm stretched just in case, but no serious action, not even any stretch and catch. The 1-2 spoiled from Jack Sundberg.
it's up onto the roof of the Legends Club.
You know what's happening there tomorrow?
Unlimited wings and beer. It's a good time. Come on out to the ballpark. Go to the Legends Club. You get your $35 for a ticket to the game, unlimited beer and wings at the Reg in Waldorf.
And, you know, Austin, especially, I feel like you can't go out anymore. As Sundberg hits one to center field, that'll drop. 1 run scores. Here comes Braxton Lee rounding third and letting another run come home. Southern Maryland takes a 3-1 lead here in the early going thanks to a Jack Sundberg 2 RBI single. He's already got 2 hits in this contest.
Yeah, Sundberg's been a bit of a streaky player throughout the year for the Blue Crabs. Got off to a really strong start, was hitting over 360, and then his batting average really fell. Under 200, he still had a strong on-base percentage, and the hits are coming again for Jack Sundberg. 2 hits today, or 2 hits in game 2. He also had 1 hit in game 1, 3 for 5 on the day.
That'll bring up Michael Wolanski. Wolanski drove in a run his first time up, and Jack Sundberg swipes second base. It's the second stolen base for the Blue Crabs here in this inning alone. Sundberg now 14 for 16 in stolen base opportunities this season. He's top 5 in the Atlantic League in stolen bases.
He had 48 stolen bases a season ago.
Unbelievable.
I'm not sure he's going to get there. He was also 48 for 51, so extremely high success rate.
Wolanski with a chopper to the left side, the third baseman in Aguilar fields and fires across the infield for out number 3. That'll strand 1 for Southern Maryland, but they brought home 2 on a Jack Sundberg 2 RBI single. That'll get us through 2. When we come back, Austin Rooney takes the reins for innings 3, 4, and 5 right here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Patrick Baker, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
American Radiology is the clear choice for all of your medical imaging needs. With locations in Charles and Calvert counties, they offer a full range of imaging services. Some of their latest innovations included 3D mammography and wide-open MRIs for our claustrophobic patients. For your convenience, they even offer extended weekday hours and Saturdays. For more information or to schedule an appointment, visit their website at AmericanRadiology.com.
This is David Harris, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Take things into the third inning. Hand it over to Austin Rooney for innings 3, 4, and 5.
Well, thank you, Andrew. Back from Regency Furniture Stadium, the Blue Crabs have a 3-1 lead over the FerryHawks, and Brian Gonzalez, the right-handed hitting catcher, will start things out for the FerryHawks. It's Alex Marathieu back for his third inning of work. The first time this season he's entered the third inning of a ball game. Here's the first pitch. That's away for ball 1. I count 1 ball and no strikes. Well, Andrew, you mentioned it's a great day for baseball. It really is. There are a few clouds in the sky, but really a nice day for baseball. A 1-0 pitch clips the outside corner. Count 1 ball and 1 strike on Gonzalez. Andrew, we're going to have to get to some of these dog trivia questions a little bit later. Blaine entered a trivia question. We're going to save that for a little later. It's a great question, though, as the 1-1 pitch is a little bit low. Count 2 balls and a strike on Brian Gonzalez. But, Andrew, I need you. I don't know if you're researching it right now, but I'd love to hear from you about some dog trivia questions.
Absolutely. I'm looking into
2-1 on the ground over to third, fielded by Crosby. Throw across the diamond is in time. There's 1 away. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm looking into it right now. I'm working on getting you these trivia questions as we speak.
Well, that's great to hear. You asked me about the Rhodesian Ridgebacks.
I did.
Back in one of our earlier dog days. What a terrific animal that is.
I got one for you, actually.
All right. Well, it's Antoine Duplantis to the plate in the top of the third. 1 out, 3-1 Blue Crabs. Here's the first pitch. Chopper over towards second, fielded by Yetzko about belt high, and he tosses to first, and there are 2 away.
Let me make sure I get the right verbiage on this question.
Is it about dogs?
It is about dogs.
Okay.
So, in the early 1900s,
Yeah.
in America, there was a type of dog that's still a prevalent type of dog today, but certainly with a different connotation to it these days. In the early 1900s, there was a specific breed of dog that was referred to as the nanny dog, and they called it that because they could leave it with their kids, and it wouldn't really take care of them, but it was just a loving dog that would kind of keep them company in a way, and that's why they were called that. So what is the nanny dog? They were known as natural caretakers and so on and so forth. So the question is, what breed of dog am I referring to?
Well, the first pitch was swung on and missed. The second pitch, another cut and a miss. Count 0-2 now on Alames. Now, back to your question. You said they have a different connotation today.
They do.
So that is the real hint here I think you're getting.
It is. Very much is.
0-2 pitch, just off the outside edge. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Alames. I'm going to say it's the pit bull.
Well, I'm not giving you the answer yet, am I? Are we going to wait an inning, or what's your protocol?
Well, since you asked it directly to me, I don't know. You know what? We'll give it until the as the 1-2 swinging a high pop-up foul, first base side out of play. We're on the top of the third. Let's give the answer with 2 outs in the bottom of the third.
That sounds good. So the question once more, what dog used to be referred to as the nanny dog?
Has a different connotation today, though.
It does.
Used to be caretakers. If it's the pit bull, I'd be, in some sense surprised, but, that's my guess here. 1-2 pitch. Oh, looked good, maybe a little bit up. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Stephen Alames. And you have to really respect what Marathew's done here through 2 2/3. 2-2 pitch. Low and away. Count 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Marathew now at risk of walking the first batter he's walked this season.
So theoretically, Austin, as we get back to the magic number talk with Southern Maryland knocking on the door of clinching a spot into the playoffs, let's talk a little bit about the playoff structure, and then I have another note about the magic number.
3-2 pitch. Line drive, left field, base hit as it bounces just a few feet into the outfield grass and rolls to the glove of the left fielder Jack Sundberg, who tosses in. Runner on first base, 2 outs in the top of the third. Still a 3-1 lead for the Blue Crabs. But yeah, let's talk about those playoffs, right? So there are 2 halves in the Atlantic League. And it's the winner of the division, of each division in each half, makes the 4-team playoffs.
Yeah, it's super interesting. So basically the winner of the first half and the winner of the second half in each division play each other in the playoffs. In the event that one team wins both halves, the team with the next best overall record in either division quantifies for the playoffs.
Oh, and that runner goes on the pitch, and the pitch was a little low and outside, and throw down to second was not in time. It goes out into center field, and Collier couldn't quite get the throw to third in time. Alames just did the same exact thing he did back in the first inning. It was a walk, and then he stole second. The pitch was low and away for a ball, and then by the time, and then it went into center field, and he took third base. There are 2 outs this time as opposed to 1 out the last time, and it was Wolanski who was backing up from the throw, but he was not far back enough to have a chance to react when it got past Yetzko. Count 1 ball and no strikes. 3-1 Blue Crabs, 2 outs in the top of the third. The pitch actually looked pretty good. Runner on third with 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Called strike on the pitch to Aguilar. Count 1 ball and 1 strike now on the righty. But going back to those playoffs, with regard to the team with the wild card, if one team wins the division twice, then you go to the wild card, which is a totally different situation.
It's kind of weird. And, the other interesting part of that after this pitch.
1-1, line drive to straightaway center. Collier doesn't have to move a single step, puts his glove up shoulder high, and he makes the catch for the final out. Well, the FerryHawks have 1 hit. They strand 1 at the end of 2.5. It's the Blue Crabs who have a 3-1 lead over the FerryHawks. We'll have more talk on the playoffs when we come back in the bottom of the 3rd on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Daryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Chick-fil-A of Charles County has been a proud supporter of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs since their inception in 2008. For years, they have sponsored the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs, America's prisoners of war and missing in action. In between the second inning of each game, there is a moment of silence brought to you by Chick-fil-A. The Southern Maryland Blue Crabs appreciate and respect not only Chick-fil-A, but all of those that have served our great country. The seat that they sponsor was made possible by Chick-fil-A of Charles County. Thank you so much, and visit any of your Charles County Chick-fil-A locations today.
This is Coach Doug's, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Your first place Southern Maryland Blue Crabs bring us into the 4th, Austin.
Yeah, bottom of the 3rd inning still, but it's Jared Walker who will step in from the left side. It's Walker. It's Walker followed by David Harris and Alex Crosby.
A little bit of a mix-up there. We do have action finally in Southern Maryland's bullpen, but Matthews looked good.
First pitch to Reynoso. High fly ball. Right center field. Not all that deep. It is the center fielder, Duplantis, who moves in and makes the catch for the first out.
And we're one out
in the bottom of the 3rd. Go ahead.
Sorry, we're 1 out away from our answer to our trivia question.
Exactly. So our trivia question will be answered with 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd inning. It brings up David Harris to the plate. And there is some action, as you mentioned, in the Blue Crabs bullpen. Now, if the Blue Crabs starter in tonight's ball game, Alex Matthews, does not go 5 innings, then the Blue Crabs would lose that designated hitter here in Game 2. It's David Harris who steps in. First pitch, called strike at the knees in the count 0-1. Remember, our trivia question one more time. Which dog that currently has a totally different connotation in the early 1900s was thought of as a caretaker dog, almost a nanny dog, as the 0-1 pitch is swung on and missed. Count 0-2 now on Harris. Base paths are empty with 1 out. The Blue Crabs have a 3-1 lead in the bottom of the 3rd inning. This one swinging a chopper right back to the mound, easily fielded by Reynoso. He tosses to first. David Harris got about halfway to first base, spun on a dime, and is headed right back to the dugout. Well, it seems it's about time we give the answer to our trivia question right before Alex Crosby comes to the plate.
It's true, and you were right, Austin. Pitbull is the right answer. It says here, and I'd heard this before, and that's where I came up with the question, but they were given the title the nanny dog because they were faithful and even the most beloved dog breeds, or one of them, in England and the U.S. It's interesting over the course of a century how oftentimes people view that dog very differently now.
Well, the first pitch is low for ball one. Pit bulls are generally good dogs. They're generally loving dogs. It's the way that they're bred, unfortunately, and also the way that humans treat them really to give them the bad rep. If you're in an area where I think the dog fighting, that's really been an issue, and there are areas where they're used as dog fighting dogs because they can be aggressive. They have a high prey drive as the 1-0 pitch runs low and in, count 2 balls and no strikes. But if they're treated the right way, they can be really great dogs.
They really can. I mean, look at Slugga.
Yeah, Slugga, which is Andrew's dog, a.k.a. Ron O'Neill Hickman. That is a terrific dog. It treats you the right way. It's a very loving dog. Can be a little bit crazy sometimes.
But I think that might just be him.
Yeah, it is. 2-0 pitch, ground ball through the right side for a base hit as Alex Crosby has another hit. He continues to hit throughout this series and now has a hitting streak that is 6 games.
Here's another fun fact for you on pit bulls that was on this same website. Did you know this? This is interesting. I learned this probably a year ago. Pit bull is not actually a breed of dog. It's a group of dog breeds. There is no one dog that is a pit bull. The American Pit Bull Terrier, the American Staffordshire Terrier, the Staffordshire Bull Terrier, and the American Bully all fall under the pit bull umbrella.
Huh.
Interesting.
The first pitch way outside to Collier. I will say, though, pit bulls, they do look very different. You can see a pit bull that's like, whitish, creamish color in coloration. You have ones that are black in coloration. And they're all the same breed. It's interesting. So that makes sense that they're a group but not a breed. I'd imagine some of them lighter, fur tone, and the other one have darker.
Yes, I think so.
Pitch, big swing and a miss on the 1-0, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike.
So, do you have any dog trivia questions, or should we hold those off?
We'll hold those until you get back to play-by-play.
That sounds good.
We have some for you in the 6th and the 7th. Love to hear some more on your end, though. One of my favorite dogs, it's a wild dog. We'll get there in a moment.
Is it an African painted dog?
It is an African painted dog. 1-1 pitches upstairs, count 2 balls and 1 strike. It is one of the most amazing dog breeds. 3-1 Blue Crabs, by the way. Runner on first base and 2 outs. Don't want to get too carried away with our dog trivia here. But the African painted dog is one of the most beautiful dogs out there. And it's a wild dog, so don't go ahead and get your exotic animal license and go pick one up at the store. 2-1 pitches, chop foul, first base side, count 2-2. If you go look them up, they hunt in packs. They're really great hunters, but they're also amazing dogs. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, I'm going to have a story for you after this pitch. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ground ball foul, first base side, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. My younger brother and my mom, they're at the Red Sox game tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And they just saw Johnny Damon at the ball game. My younger brother took a picture with Johnny Damon.
Like in the stands?
Yes, in the stands, exactly.
Did they have good seats?
I have no idea.
You'd think Johnny would get special treatment. Maybe not after going to the Yankees, but.
Yeah, maybe not. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That's inside. It's low. Pickoff throw to first, and Crosby slides back in safely. I have no information on this other than Johnny Damon's at the game, and my younger brother got a picture with Johnny Damon moments ago.
Is this John Bones Jones?
It is John Bones Jones,
Your
the one
brother?
who goes by John Bones Jones.
Got it.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner on first base. The Blue Crabs lead this one 3-1 as Zach Collier digs back in.
Collier gets yet another full count.
Blue Crabs scored 1 in the first and 2 in the second and lead the FerryHawks 3-1. 3-2 pitch, wave and a miss. A strikeout on a breaking ball low and out of the zone, and that ends the bottom of the 3rd inning. It's the Blue Crabs who still have a 3-1 lead over the FerryHawks as we go to the top of the 4th.
This is Matt Latos, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Patrick Baker, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
We go to the top of the fourth inning from Regency Furniture Stadium. New pitcher in the game for the Blue Crabs. You really couldn't be happier with what Alex Marathu did. He goes 3 innings, allows an unearned run, just 2 hits in this ballgame. And the new pitcher is Bradley Roney, who's got some of the best stuff on the Blue Crabs, but his numbers don't really back that up. It's Dilson Herrera who gets things started. First pitch is low and away. Andrew, do you have any of the numbers on Bradley Roney?
Yeah, I sure do. And you mentioned it. I would totally agree that his stuff is better than his numbers show. A 1-0 record this year with a 5.23 ERA, a 1.56 whip. All told on the season, 17 appearances so far. Over 20 and 2/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 12 runs, 12 walks, while striking out 33 batters.
The 1-0 pitch was fouled back. Count 1 ball and 1 strike on Herrera. Here's the 1-1 offering. Popped up foul behind home plate. Overhead, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now, Andrew, he also had a very strong performance last time out, though.
Yeah, he did. You're exactly right. Last time out for Bradley Roney, he went 2 1/3 innings, allowing no hits or runs, no walks, and he struck out 4 batters.
7 up and 7 down against Charleston. That was on Sunday. Pitch, called strike 3. Clipped the outside corner on Dilson Herrera, who's off to a tough start with Staten Island, and there's 1 away in the top of the 4th.
Yeah, I think Roney gets the benefit of the doubt on that one. Looked like it maybe crept outside the edge, but you got to swing at that with 2 strikes.
Yeah, Dilson Herrera was not a massive fan of that call. The home plate umpire, Jim Clayton, rung him up. Jim Clayton, the one who got the nickname for Bill the Skill Worthington. Mario Bautista at the plate. First pitch from Roney. Big wave and a miss. Count no balls and 1 strike with 1 out. Top of the 4th inning. FerryHawks scored 1 run back in the top of the 1st. Base paths are empty. 0-1 pitch. Upstairs. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. Blue Crabs are inching in on that magic number. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but the magic number down to 8 now with the win in Game 1. The Blue Crabs were to win Game 2 and the Ducks lose their game against High Point today. It would drop all the way to 6. So a loss by the second-place team, that subtracts 1, or a win from your team. 1-1 pitch, called strike, count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Austin, I got another trivia question for you.
Is it dog-related?
It is.
Go ahead.
It is.
If you were not going to say it was dog-related, I might have said, hold up.
Hold the phone.
Right, exactly. But the dog-related trivia question.
And I've even got multiple choice for you.
Okay, well, let's wait after this pitch. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Bautista goes down on strikes. They're 2 away in the top of the 4th. Go ahead.
I think this is a pretty reasonable question.
Yep.
Which dog yodels instead of barks? Is it A, a basset hound,
okay,
B, a Basenji, C, an otter hound,
right,
or D, your favorite type of dog, a Commodore?
Say it again.
A Commodore? A Commodore?
Yeah. I mean, all 4 of those I am extremely familiar with.
I know.
The first pitch is low and away. Where did you come up with these?
It's just, background knowledge I've got in the back of my head,
Can you give me those 4 again in order, please?
Of course.
After this pitch. 1-0 pitch. It's called strike on the outside corner. Count 1-1. 3-1 Blue Crabs over the FerryHawks. Go ahead, Andrew. Can you repeat
You know what? I'll
those?
just give you the answer.
No, I want to hear the options again.
All right. We've got the Basset Hound, the Basenji, the Otter Hound, and the Commodore.
It's the Basenji, 100%. 1-2 pitch, a 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed. Count 1-2. Am I right?
Would you believe me if I told you you are right?
I would. I don't know where I've heard that or what I know about it, but it's the Basenji.
You're right. The Basenji, or Africa's barkless dog, is a unique breed. But they do not bark. They just yodel.
Huh. Sort of like a wolf, right? It howls.
I guess.
1-2 pitch. Ground ball over towards short. Charging in, it's the shortstop Wolanski who throws over to first base in time for the final out. We're done with 3.5 innings of play. The Blue Crabs have a 3-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Stick with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Joe DeLuca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Dalton Geeky, and you're listening to Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Bottom of the fourth inning. It's Joe DeLuca who will get things started. The Blue Crabs send 7, 8, and 9 to the plate. It's a 3-1 lead for Southern Maryland. It's Bark in the Park Day, which is, if you're wondering why we have all the dog trivia going, that's why. First pitch from Reynoso, a little bit low in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Blue Crabs scored 1 in the first. They added 2 more in the second. As DeLuca bats from the left side of the plate, the switch hitter against the righty pitcher Reynoso. 1-0 pitch, ground, a line drive. It's off the body of Reynoso. It dropped to the ground briefly, tosses to first in time. A screamer that was going to go back up the middle, probably for a base hit. And there is 1 away in the bottom of the fourth.
You know, baseball is such an interesting sport, and in my opinion, so unique from other sports for so many reasons, but one of them being right there. I mean, like you said, Joe DeLuca has a hit unless it hits the pitcher, right? It's just very, very interesting. One of the many reasons I love baseball, one of those unique little tidbits.
I will say this much. You know, if Stephen Curry hits a ball well, or shoots a ball well, it's going in the basket.
Right, that's what I was getting at. I agree.
First pitch is low to Braxton Lee, count 1-0. In football, if Tom Brady throws a perfect throw down the sideline to his wide receiver, unless he drops it, it's a catch. 1-0 pitch. He's way ahead of it on an off-speed pitch, and the count 1-1. And in hockey, maybe a goalie makes a terrific save, but if you have a great shot, you got a good shot at scoring. In baseball, you can hit the ball terrifically, but if it's right at a fielder, it's out. You're an out. 1-1 pitch. Looking, it's a called strike on the outside corner. Count 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bottom of the fourth inning. Reynoso set. Here's the pitch. Oh. It's the home plate umpire, Jim Clayton, calls time right as he's starting the windup. Here in Bottom of the fourth, the 1-2 is swinging a high fly ball, shallow left field. The left fielder, Mane, is there, and he makes the catch for the second out as it brings up Ian Yetzko. It's funny enough, Andrew, despite the fact that 7 and 8 got out in the Blue Crabs order, 7 and 8 are two of the best hitters in the Blue Crabs lineup.
It's true. It really is.
As Yetzko comes to the plate, and he's also hitting well. Came in today with a .297 batting average. First pitch is away for ball one. Well, Andrew, it's just a terrific day for baseball, and a number of fans having a great day at the ballpark as the 1-0, a swing and a miss to the pitch low in the dirt. Count 1-1.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, you mentioned the numbers for Ian Yetzko, a guy that hasn't gotten everyday playing time, but talk about somebody that makes the most of every opportunity.
Exactly right. His batting average has been up over 300 at many times this year as the 1-1 pitch is low. Count 2-1, 2 outs. Blue Crabs lead by 2 in the bottom of the fourth. Well, Blue Crabs back in game 1 of this series, trailed 3-2 going into the 6th, put up a 6 spot, went on to win 8-3 in game 1 of this series. Or game 1 of the doubleheader, I should say. This one a little squibber down the third baseline. It goes into foul territory, and they count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Back in game 1 of the doubleheader, the Blue Crabs trailed 2-1 from the 3rd inning through the 7th inning. 2 outs, 2 strikes, runner on first base. Blue Crabs down by 1. Joe DeLuca went deep to left on a line drive 2-run shot.
Unbelievable. You know, the craziest thing is that part of me was kind of wondering if that would happen just because of how magical this Blue Crabs team has been this season.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Blue Crabs are 36-12 after the win. They also have a 12-game lead in the division. Think about that for a second.
It's unbelievable.
You've lost 12 games, you have a 12-game lead. And the 2-2 pitch is in. The count 3-2 now. Let's go.
750 winning percentage.
Yeah.
Winning 3 of 4 games for the whole season is just remarkable.
It is. Yetzko, not extremely tall player, but he's got a lot of pop in his bat. A very strong player. 3-2. Line drive toward right field. The right fielder, Bautista, moves over toward the line, toward the bullpen for the FerryHawks, and makes the catch in foul ground for the final out. The Blue Crabs go down in order in the 4th. It's still 3-1 Blue Crabs. We go to the 5th.
This is Daryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Whether it's Chris Paul, Cliff Paul, Aaron Rodgers, or even the son of a former Blue Crab, Patrick Mahomes, you've seen many athletes endorsing State Farm. That's because your State Farm agent has your back through good times and not so good times. That's why all the Blue Crabs, Daryl Thompson and the whole team, trust State Farm with their insurance needs. State Farm is the company people have trusted for over 99 years to help life go right. Call your local State Farm agent, Greg Conklin, today at 240-776-4289.
This is David Harris, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
We go to the top of the fifth inning. Bradley Roney, after a 1-2-3-4th, is back out there for his fifth inning of work. It is the Blue Crabs with a 2-run lead. Here's the first pitch to Junior Santana, a breaking ball in there for a called strike, about belt high. And they count 0-1.
Peter J. Whiteside comments on our broadcast and says, I need a Brew Crab beer, or 2 or 3 or 4.
0-1 pitch. Breaking ball, called strike of the knees. Well, if you want a Blue Crab beer or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or more, you can go over to the Legends Club tomorrow night.
It's true.
Unlimited beer and wings. I don't suggest having too much more than the 4 you suggest, but, you know.
On the wings side, though.
Well, right.
You can go up to
0-2
20.
pitch, a little bit away. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes. If you have 20 wings, you know, the 4 beers is not as big of a deal.
It's true. Looks like Andres Briseño's up and warming in the Blue Crabs bullpen. Now he's going to sit back down. Pitched last night.
He did. He was up and throwing in game 1 as well, in case that game went into extras. 1-2 pitch from Roney. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. This is Bradley Roney when he's pitching well. The 2 1/3 innings he pitched against Charleston, and then the 1 1/3 he's got so far. Power fastball, 94-95. And a breaking ball that has a lot of break to it. It's a curved ball that he sets up with a fastball and then he buries it. Some say buries, but he buries it.
Okay.
Here comes Monhay. First pitch, fouled off first base side. And they count 0-1. It gets out of play. Well, Andrew, before we finish the fifth inning, I would really appreciate one more dog-related trivia question.
Oh, we can get that done.
And then I will return the favor in the 6th and 7th.
We can definitely get that done.
It's Bark in the Park Day. That's why we're doing these dog trivia questions. Well, Monhay bunts on the pitch, and it's right back toward Roney, who had to move a few steps off the mound to make the catch, but he popped it up in the air. And there are now 2 away in the top of the 5th. Blue Crabs lead by 2 with 2 outs. But Roney continues to pitch quite well. He's had his ups and downs this year, had a number of downs to start the season. But 2 1/3 against Charleston, an inning and 2/3 so far tonight. This is Bradley Roney at his best. And now Andres Briseño up and throwing yet again. And we've seen some players get picked up out of the Atlantic League, but most of the pitchers have been starters. The first pitch is low and away. And I think that, you know, you start the season, the stars are going to be those guys. They want to fill out the roster, get that real base for some of those MLB teams. But then later on, I think you're more likely to see some of the relievers get picked up as the 1-0 pitch is low and away. And Bradley Roney, a guy who I think, if he's pitching really well, you know, especially he starts to heat up in June into July, there's a real chance you could see him at the AAA level and see if he's got his stuff going.
I got a trivia question for you when you want it.
2-0 pitch upstairs, count 3-0, and now he seems to have lost his zone a little bit. Well, let's hear it.
Approximately, how many domestic dog breeds are there in the world?
Oh, no.
Now, not domestic house cat, domestic dog breeds.
So these are not dingoes. These are not African painted dogs.
Right.
3-0 pitch. Inside corner, called strike on Gonzalez. He does not like the call. Looked back at Jim Clayton. He wasn't happy about it. Now this is one I have absolutely no idea. 3-1 pitch, cut on and shot foul off the inside of his left foot. You know what? I got an idea here. I'm going to give an answer.
Okay.
Okay. Let's write it in the YouTube chat and see if we can have some fans get some numbers as well.
Let's do it.
And fans, do not look this one up. Okay. Please do not. Just give it a guess. I'm going to take a shot in the dark here. Say 1,700 dog breeds. 1,700. I mean, there are tons. Just one after the next after the next. There's so many dog breeds. I have no idea. I'm guessing 1,700.
Okay.
So let's see if we can have some fans here get their best guess. Maybe you're a dog breeder and know the answer to this question. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 5th inning, the Blue Crabs ahead by 2. As Bradley Roney Pitched 1 2/3 very well, and now behind in the count, 3-0. He works back to 3-2 on the batter, Gonzalez. Brian Gonzalez the pitch. Line drive toward left field. It forces Sundberg over toward the line where he makes the catch for the final out. Well, let's see if some fans can put together some answers as to how many dog breeds there are in the United States. It's 3-1 Blue Crabs, though, as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Don't go anywhere.
This is Daryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Chick-fil-A of Charles County has been a proud supporter of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs since their inception in 2008. For years, they have sponsored the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs, America's prisoners of war and missing in action. In between the second inning of each game, there is a moment of silence brought to you by Chick-fil-A. The Southern Maryland Blue Crabs appreciate and respect not only Chick-fil-A, but all of those that have served our great country. The seat that they sponsor was made possible by Chick-fil-A of Charles County. Thank you so much, and visit any of your Charles County Chick-fil-A locations today.
Bottom of the 5th inning from Regency Furniture Stadium. Just a 7-inning contest today. It's a 3-1 Blue Crabs lead in Game 2 of the doubleheader. It's Jack Sundberg who gets things started against Eddie Reynoso. And the first pitch is a called strike. Jack Sundberg is 2 for 2. Jack Sundberg is hitting .211 on the year, but he's 3 for 5 on the day. The 0-1 pitch way up and outside. Count 1 ball and 1 strike now on the lefty Sundberg. Sundberg tripled in the first inning, and he singled and drove in 2 RBIs in the second. Gave the Blue Crabs a 3-1 lead they have now. 1-1 pitch is low, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike on Sundberg. Well, again, please keep on answering in the group chat or the YouTube chat. I say group chat. I think about it. Say group chat more. And it's a YouTube chat. I don't know why. It is sort of a group of fans, though. So, 2-1 pitch, fouled off, third base side. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. We'd love to hear some of your answers. Andrew, I can't see the YouTube chat. Can you read aloud some of the answers that can be read on air?
Okay, yeah. We do have some that cannot be read on air, but Dennis Moore originally guessed 2,527.
Okay, I love the specificity.
I do too. And then he specified and said, is that in the United States or in the world?
That's a great question.
And then he said
2-2 pitch, ground ball up the middle for a base hit. And Sundberg is aboard with nobody out to lead things off in the 5th. It's his 3rd hit of the day. He's now 4 for 6 on the day. Really a terrific game for Sundberg. He started to hit the ball better. But let's get back to that YouTube chat.
He says in the USA, his guess is 200.
200 in the U.S., but 2,500 in the world. And the question was in the world, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, I misquoted it. I said it in the U.S. at the end of the top of the 5th. So that's my bad on that one. First pitch called strike, belt high, and the count 0-1. Again, the question is, if you're just joining us and haven't looked at the group chat or YouTube chat yet, the question is, how many domesticated dog breeds are there in the world? 0-1 pitch to Wolanski. Line drive, foul back behind home plate. Count 0-2. Nobody out. Runner on first base. Spot on the fifth inning. A 3-1 score. Dennis Moore, of course, from Possum Point Lodge. Not Opossum or Opossum Point Lodge, as he noted back in Game 1. But do you have some other answers other than the 2,500?
Yeah, Steve Hole guesses 1,100.
Okay. 0-2 pitch, I should say, is low in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And
Okay.
DeWitt B asks, how long have we been announcing?
A while, a long time. I started broadcasting as professionally of some sort back in college in my sophomore year. This one, swinging a ground ball, one hopper to second, on a short for one. Back on to first, double play. 4-6-3 double play. Alamaze to Reyes, back to Herrero. And there are 2 away. It's the second time Wolanski has grounded into a double play in as many days. There are 2 away in the bottom of the 5th. Andrew, how long have you been broadcasting? So I guess that's, 19, I'm 24, 5 years?
Yeah. I started with the Blue Crabs in 2018. This is my first year not full-time on the broadcast, but my 5th year broadcasting with the team. I think my first actual broadcast was in 2016.
I guess, yeah, I did a radio game back in 2017. Maybe it was 2016? Might have been late in 2016. I'm not quite sure, honestly. First pitch is in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. I did color commentary for a Notre Dame student radio broadcast way back. I think this was 2016. I think it was December of 2016, or maybe it was January 2017. 1-0 pitch. That's in and low, and the count 2 balls and no strikes now on Jared Walker. Was in the Cape League in 2017 with Antoine Duplantis, who's out in center field. I broadcasted his games for the Mariners, the Harwich Mariners. Was there in 2017-18, joined the Blue Crabs in 2019. Two-0 pitch, ground ball foul, first base side, count 2 balls and 1 strike. The Blue Crabs have a 36-12 record, a 12-game lead in the division. Let's hear, do we have any other questions? Any other answers? Because after this pitch, I'd like for us to give the answer at the end of the 5th inning here. Andrew, any other answers in the YouTube
Yeah, we have a
chat?
couple more. DeWitt B answers 2 answers.
2-1 pitch, chop foul, count 2-2. Go ahead.
One of them is the exact same as Dennis Moore's from earlier, 2,527, but also guesses 360.
Okay.
Brian Hauk guesses 26.
Just 26.
Yeah, just 26.
Gotta love it. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. After this pitch, regardless of the outcome, we'll give our answer to the trivia question. The total number of domesticated dog breeds in the world, 2-2, up and away. Count 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, a 2-run lead for the Blue Crabs in the bottom of the 5th. And the answer to our trivia question is
360 is the answer. Now, we did have one person get that right. It was DeWitt B. And that answer comes from the Federation. Honestly, it's a French word. I can't say it, but it translates to World Canine Organization. They say 360 breeds are in the world.
That sounds low. I thought you told me 450.
Yes, and that was from a different source. This is from a much more reliable source. So,
what was the source of the first one?
It was unclear. It was a trivia website, so I got the more specific answer. And the World Dog Organization says 360.
Well, if DeWitt B got that right and did not look it up, congratulations, terrific job.
I agree.
3-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3 as Jared Walker goes down on strikes. Reynoso seems to have found his groove here in the 4th and 5th innings as the Staten Island FerryHawks keep this at a 3-1 deficit. It's Andres Briseño who will be entering in the top of the 6th, and Andrew Banstra who will be back on the play-by-play for the 6th and 7th. Stick with us on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Joe DeLuca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Whether it's Chris Paul, Cliff Paul, Aaron Rodgers, or even the son of a former Blue Crab, Patrick Mahomes, You've seen many athletes endorsing State Farm. That's because your State Farm agent has your back through good times and not so good times. That's why all the Blue Crabs, Daryl Thompson, and the whole team trust State Farm with their insurance needs. State Farm is the company people have trusted for over 99 years to help life go right. Call your local State Farm agent, Greg Conklin, today at 240-776-4289. When you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Tony McClure of Century 21 New Millennium and his Grand Slam team, the realtor of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs since our first season in 2008. Tony and his team of preferred partners includes Tim Murphy of CNF Mortgage and Steve Scott of the Scott Law Group. Together, they will ensure that your real estate needs are nothing short of a grand slam. The quality service you will receive is Hall of Fame worthy. Put Tony's 41-plus years of experience to work for you. Call or text Tony today at 301-928-1280 for your personal Grand Slam experience. Go Blue Crabs.
Antoine Duplantis leads things off as we take things into the top of the sixth. It's the top of the lineup for Staten Island in this 7-inning contest. Game 2 of a doubleheader. Staten Island trying to avoid dropping another contest here. They've got 6 outs to try to alter that outcome as Antoine Duplantis mans the left-handed batter's box. Andres Briseño, the newcomer, onto the mound for Southern Maryland. Briseño has been one of the best in the Atlantic League in this entire 2022 season, Austin.
He has. He's had a terrific ERA at 1.35. He had a strong appearance yesterday, an inning of work, no hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts, 1-2-3 inning.
Mentioned for the first, I think, 14 innings of his season, Briseño did not allow any runs as Matt Latos warms up in the Blue Crabs bullpen. Had a couple of 2-run shots allowed to him, but he's been able to get back into his groove of late. Second A straight pitching as Duplantis fouls one down the first base line. We stay at 0-2.
Yeah, this is the first time he's coming in the 6th inning in what's just a 7-inning ball game because of the doubleheaders. But you make a good point about the Blue Crabs pitcher and Andres Briseño.
You know, even if you have to go with a bullpen day, which is basically what the Blue Crabs did in this game, 2 is an elevated fastball, no chance at it from Antoine Duplantis, given the high heat. Did Briseño.
Yeah, it's, again, you mentioned it, high heat, hard fastball, sizzles past the bat of Antoine Duplantis.
Andres Briseño, the Venezuelan native who spent a decade in the Detroit Tigers organization. But to get back to the point from earlier, in a 7-inning game, if you're going to go with a bullpen day and you know if it's a close game, you're going to turn to Briseño and Latos for the 6th and the 7th. Really, it's just a 5-inning game because these guys are just that good.
Then you got Marathieu in there who's, I think the goal for him was to go about 3. He told me he wanted to go long, but I think 3 is the longest he's gone this year. It is the longest, but
Tapper right back in front of home plate, but it's fouled off of the man at the dish in Stefan Alames.
And back to that point, though, about Merrithew, I think that you really could not have asked for him to do any better. He allows 2 hits, no walks, 1 unearned run across 3 innings. Some of the best work we've seen him do this year. And it gives him some work, and he'll have a few days off, but the Blue Crabs have a lot of depth in the bullpen. And if Merrithew can be a consistent guy for the rest of the year, it would go a really long way for the Blue Crabs.
It really would. And for him, too. I mean, a guy in his highest level of professional baseball.
He played with the Houston Apollos last year, who was a traveling team, and played in the Pecos League prior. But he throws hard, 93. Go a little higher than that even. Good-looking breaking ball as well, and I think he really showed that today. He's got great command. That's really what is the biggest plus.
Another one from Andrus Briseño, strike number 3. Back-to-back strikeouts to get this 6th inning of action started, and he's doing exactly what we would expect him to, Austin.
We would. I mean, this is back-to-back strikeouts, 4 strikeouts in his last 5 batters dating back to yesterday's game. And he had a strikeout to the first batter and the third batter of that inning. We'll have to see. Maybe he'll go another 3 strikeouts, strike out the side here. Andrus Briseño, known for his strikeouts. He had 35 strikeouts in 21 innings coming in.
Briseño catches the bottom of the strike zone to the 3rd batter in the FerryHawks order. It's Angel Aguilar.
It is the ice cream man at the plate, Aguilar.
Swing and a miss on a big curveball from Briseño, who's on the brink of yet another strikeout.
And if he does strike out, it would give you a coupon for a free ice cream or ice at who? Landon's Ices and Creams?
You got it in the Plata.
0-2 pitch, a little upstairs, count 1 and 2. Have not been yet, but I definitely intend on going sometime soon.
Takes upstairs. The count evens at 2 and 2.
And maybe during a lunch break, we'll have to get the whole office down there.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be really cool. I've been over there. They have some really funky flavors that are awesome. A great local spot as Briseño comes set. Here comes the pitch. Driven down the left field line. This should stay fair, and it does. Smacks off the UA Local 5 sign in left field, but held to a single is Angel Aguilar. Didn't expect that. It's the second time in as many days we've seen that happen.
Yeah, it was a line drive sort of off the end of the bat. Didn't get all that much power behind it, but somehow managed to rope it all the way off the wall and left. Not every day you see someone like Andrus Briseño hit that well, although he has been allowing a couple of long balls recently. But after 2 strikeouts, it looked like he might strike out the side. Instead, it's a line drive off the wall in left, and the tying run comes to the plate.
So here's Andrus Briseño, like you said, all of a sudden, in kind of an interesting spot here. Very accustomed to coming in difficult scenarios. As a strike comes crossed.
The best ERA of a pitcher on the team, it was Briseño for a very long time, but it's Patrick Baker now.
Baker's had an unbelievable season.
You look at guys who might get picked up. If you throw 97, you got good breaking stuff, and have an ERA under 1, you got a real shot.
It's true. That's exactly how Chris Mazza got picked up. Didn't have quite the velo, but came from the Pacific Association to the Blue Crabs in 2018. Threw about 94, 95. Great reliever who allowed 1 run in 22 innings. Gets picked up, makes his MLB debut, and he's bouncing back and forth between the MLB and AAA to this day.
With the Rays, right?
That's right.
And I think that Dustin Knight's with the Rays as well now.
That's exactly right.
So the two of them, it's almost like they're fighting for one spot because they're going back and forth from AAA, and I'm sure they're going up and down together.
It's true. As Dilson Herrera fouls one away, Charlie Valerio, also the bullpen catcher for the Rays at the MLB level. No balls, 2 strikes. Here's Andres Briseño trying to fan Dilson Herrera. Unable to do so here as he takes ball number 1. Briseño back out onto the mound. The right-handed reliever on his way home with the pitch. Swing and a miss on a fastball way outside the zone, getting him to chase. Strikes out 3 batters in the inning, does Andres Briseño, and that'll take us into the bottom of the 6th when we return on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Joe DeLuca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
We're back in the bottom of the 6th inning. The FerryHawks trail the Blue Crabs 3-1, but they have a new pitcher in the ball game. It's Williams Marinez, or Ramirez. I beg your pardon, Williams Ramirez.
Southern Maryland still clinging to a 3-1 lead. They look to add a little insurance here in the bottom of the 6th inning. First pitch over to the pinch hitter, Matt Hibbert.
The first pitch to the pinch hitter, Matt Hibbert, is in there for a called strike. I beg your pardon, I had it right the first time. It's Eric Marinez. Marinez and Ramirez, they're pretty close. I beg your pardon for that one. Here is Matt Hibbert, 0-1 pitch, big wave and a miss, and the count 0-2. It's tough for someone like Hibbert who comes into a lot of these games and he's got to pinch hit in these situations, or he only gets a few opportunities, and then those you have to really make the most of those opportunities because you're not getting all that many of them and you want to earn the next one. So it's just tough for a player like him who doesn't play every day. And the 0-2 pitches upstairs, count 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and no outs. It's a 3-1 lead for the Blue Crabs in the bottom of the 6th, looking to add some insurance runs as Matt Latos warms up in the Blue Crabs bullpen down the third base line. 1-2 pitch, called strike 3. Jim Clayton rings up Matt Hibbert, who's not happy with the call. It was on the inside corner, and there's 1 away. So it's Hibbert. He'll be followed by Crosby and Collier. 4, 5, and 6 as Alex Crosby will come to the plate, bats from the left side. 1 out in the bottom of the 6th inning. This is just a 7-inning ball game. Game 2 of a doubleheader where the Blue Crabs won Game 1 3-2 on a 2-run walk-off home run. The first pitch is low for ball 1 on Alex Crosby. Count 1 ball and no strikes. Marinez, he's set. Pitch, swinging a roller down the first base side. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. And Alex Crosby has a 5-game hit streak going after the base hit in game 1. Hitting .326 on the season. Blue Crabs have won both of these first 2 games of this series as the 1-1 pitch is away. Count 2-1. The Blue Crabs won the first 2 games they played against Staten Island right here at the Reg back in April. It was supposed to be the Blue Crabs' opening night game, actually, but that game was rained out. That's why we're playing 2 today. It was rained out in advance, and then on the Wednesday and Thursday, the Blue Crabs won both those games. The 2-1 pitches upstairs, count 3-1. Those were part of the Blue Crabs' 12-game winning streak, which is a franchise record. After losing the first game of the season against the Legends, the Blue Crabs won 12 straight. Finally had that streak snapped at the Genomes. The Blue Crabs have had a 7-game hit streak, a 5-game hit streak, and have also won 3 in a row right now. Looking for their 4th consecutive win. They lead 3-1. Here's the pitch. Inside, check swing. They go down to third, and Mike Mackey says that he didn't go around. And so there's a runner on first base as Marinez missed up and away. Runner on first base with 1 out. 3-1. It's the Blue Crabs who lead over the FerryHawks, and Zach Collier. Joe DeLuca stands on deck. Austin Ernie joined by Andrew Banstra on a beautiful evening in Waldorf, Maryland. The first pitch is away for ball 1 on Zach Collier. Count 1 ball and no strikes. This game got started right around 7:50 as we get close to that 2-hour mark. Blue Crabs started game 1 at 5, ended right around 7:10, 7:15. 30 minutes after the conclusion of that first game, we started game 2. And the 1-0 pitch, a called strike on Collier, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike on the outer half. It's Crosby from first with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Blue Crabs have a 3-1 lead over the FerryHawks. Reynoso was relieved by Marinez, and the 1-1 pitch is a called strike, count 1-2. One on, 1 out. Bottom of the 6th inning. 1-2 pitch, check swing. They motion down to second, and Mackey says he held up. The angle up top was a awfully close call. And it is interesting always to look at the field umpire being the one who is responsible for whether or not he goes around. Does he actually have a better view? The idea being that he's exclusively focused on whether he's swung or not. But, I mean, let's just be honest. At some point during a long baseball game, the umpire might not be looking all that closely.
It's true.
2-2 pitches low, count 3-2.
Yeah, there's just no way that's always what they're looking at. It just doesn't make sense.
No, it's not. There's no way. Count 3 balls and 2 strikes. I will say at the major league level, they do an outstanding job getting that right.
They do.
It is incredible how accurate they are. And MLB umpires sometimes get a bad reputation. This one swinging a high pop-up, shallow left center. And it's Crosby who backpedals back to the bag as there are 2 away as the left fielder Monhe makes the catch out in left center field. They're 2 outs, bottom of the 6th inning. The Blue Crabs have a 3-1 advantage. looking to add an insurance run as they go to the top of the 7th, as the Blue Crabs will send Matt Latos, I'm nearly certain, to the mound for the close. Joe DeLuca from the right side of the plate hit a 2-run shot over the mini monster. Gave the Blue Crabs a 3-2 walk-off victory in Game 1 of the series. Doesn't have a hit yet in Game 2. First pitch to DeLuca, low and in. Count 1 ball and no strikes. One 1-0 pitch. That runs into DeLuca. Count 2 balls and no strikes. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. 2-run lead for the Blue Crabs. They lead at 3-1. It was the FerryHawks who scored first in the top of the first inning. The Blue Crabs with 1 in the bottom of the first. They had 2 in the bottom of the second. And here we are in the bottom of the 6th. Pitch, that one's line drive, third base side toward the Legends Club. They've got those windows there, Andrew, on the Legends Club. Those are bulletproof, right?
I believe so. And, you know, I was at another ballpark a couple of days ago, and they didn't sound, you know, when they hit the windows here, it sounds as if it's hitting a brick wall almost.
Mm-hmm.
At the other park I was at, it sounded like the window was going to break. So definitely, you know, it could have just been the whatever type of window it was. But
line drive, shallow center field. It's the shortstop Reyes who backpedals and makes the catch for the final out in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Blue Crabs have a 3-1 lead. They turn to Matt Latos for the 9th, who looks to pick up another save. The Blue Crabs looking for their 4th straight win as Latos comes to the hill. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. It's 3-1 Crabs.
All Pawn is Southern Maryland's premier pawn shop and is the official pawn shop of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. Stop by and say hello today. They've been a part of the Southern Maryland community for 18 years. If you need some cash to hold you over, or if you're just doing some spring cleaning and want to clear some stuff out, please bring it by All Pawn and let them make you an offer. If you have broken jewelry or some that you just don't want anymore, please bring it by, and they'll pay you more than anyone in the Tri-County area. They're located on 301 in White Plains, just south of DeMar Road. Go Blue Crabs!
Top of the 7th inning, it's Matt Latos who enters the ball game against Mario Bautista. First pitch, fastball a little bit upstairs. Count 1 ball and no strikes on the righty Bautista. Base paths empty as we start at the top of the 7th inning. The Blue Crabs have a 3-1 lead, looking to pick up their 4th consecutive win. 1-0 pitch, called strike. In doubleheader games, each game is 7 innings in length. In game 1, Blue Crabs had a walk-off 2-run home run in the bottom of the 7th inning. And here in game 2, it's the top of the 7th. The Blue Crabs have a 2-run lead. 1-1 pitch to Bautista. That's a little in, and the count 2 balls and a strike. We're glad everybody's decided to join us. Matt Latos in his last appearance against Lexington back on the 9th. As the 2-1 pitch is up and in. Count 3 balls and 1 strike. Matt Latos has a 4.08 ERA. He had a few earned runs, or a few unearned runs that were changed from earned to unearned. He's allowed 12 runs in 18 2/3 innings, just 8 earned. 3-1 pitch from Latos. High pop-up, first base side. DeLuca chases, it's going to get into the seats. And the count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, we're very happy you've decided to join us, Austin Rooney. Glad to have you on hand. Andrew has gone downstairs, had to deal with a number of additional duties that he has. 3-1 Blue Crabs. Matt Latos, who has a league-high 14 saves, looking to put this one away. 3-2, foul back. Count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. And it's Mario Bautista. It'll be Bautista followed by Alfredo Reyes and Junior Santana. But Santana, he is the designated hitter, and because Reynoso went 5, he's able to stay in the game. Here's the 3-2 pitch from Latos. Line drive, left field, long run for Sundberg. He's not going to get there. At 1 hops the wall. Sundberg plays it quickly. He fires into second. The throw gets past the second baseman Yetzko. It's the first baseman Walker backing up, but it's a leadoff double off the bat of Mario Bautista, and a runner on second with nobody out in the top of the 7th inning. Well, the tying run now comes to the plate as Alfredo Reyes steps in. Reyes is 1 for 2. He singled back in the 2nd. He grounded to short in the 4th. Blue Crabs pitching staff was rolling. 3 strong innings from Marathew. Pitch from Latos, hard fastball, count 0-1. Marathew went 3 innings, allowed 2 hits. Did not walk a batter, allowed 1 unearned run after he hit a batter back in the 1st. So after 3 innings from him, Bradley Roney went 2 terrific innings, 6 up, 6 down. 1-1 pitch, line drive into center field. It's a base hit. They're going to send the runner Bautista from third. Now they hold him up. Their runner's on the corners now with 1 out. And Matt Latos has found himself in a little bit of trouble here in the top of the 7th. Tying run at first. The go-ahead run now comes to the plate. It's Junior Santana, one of 2 batters in this FerryHawks order who wears the orange batting helmet. The other is the leadoff man. That's Antoine Duplantis. But the FerryHawks with 2 on and nobody out. The tying run on first base. First pitch to Junior Santana. Called strike, fastball, and the count 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, nobody out. 3-1 Blue Crabs, but it's the FerryHawks who have put together their best rally probably the entire game. They scored a run back in the 1st, but it was after a hit-by pitch, a throwing error. Eventually, the run scored on a sacrifice fly. Big swing and a miss on the pitch. And now the tying run goes into scoring position as the 0-1 pitch is a called strike, count 0-2. A little surprised the Blue Crabs allowed Alfredo Reyes to advance second without a throw. Not sure if he was held on closely to the bag or not, but either way, the tying run is in scoring position. Pitch to Santana. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. DeLuca looks back. The runner tosses to first. And he is called out as Junior Santana was running down the line. It was a looping throw. And Walker managed to keep his foot on the bag. There's one away in the top of the 7th. It's a big out from Matt Latos. But with the tying run in scoring position, still very dangerous. And now it's Joseph Monhay who comes to the plate. 2 on, 1 out in the top of the 7th. The Blue Crabs have a 3-1 lead, but the FerryHawks are very much threatening here in the top of the 7th. Well, it was a single from Bautista. Another base hit from Reyes to put runners in the corners, and since then Reyes stole second. A strikeout, though, to Santana. This is a swing and a ground ball over to second. Gobbled up by Yetzko. He fires to first. 1 run scores. It's Mario Bautista, but it's now a 3-2 game with 2 outs. The tying run is just 90 feet away. But the Blue Crabs, in that situation, will trade the run with the out. As it's all about the outs right now. The Blue Crabs 1 out away from winning, but on the other hand, it's the FerryHawks 90 feet away from tying. And the all-important Brian Gonzalez comes to the plate. First pitch to Gonzalez, called strike. Count no balls and 1 strike. The count 0-1 now. With 2 outs, count no balls and 1 strike. Has a career ERA of 3.33. 0-1 pitch. That was one upstairs, and he had to get out of the way of that one. The count 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 offering from Latos. Foul back to the netting. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes now. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 3-2 game, the tying run on third base. The Blue Crabs looking to win their 4th consecutive game. 1-2 pitch to Gonzalez. This one is fouled off third base side. Well, Brian Gonzalez hitting .273 on the year. He's 0 for 2 today, though. Staten Island 5 for 24 on the game. It's Reyes who's had a big game. Bautista has had a hit here in the 9th as well. He came around and scored. 3-2. A Blue Crabs lead. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Brian Gonzalez. Here's the pitch. Ground ball, third base side. Tough play, deflects off of Crosby's glove into center field. This ball game is tied. Oh my, it was going to be a tough play. It could have been a seeing eye single. Crosby dove for it. Took an awkward deflection from there toward left center field, and it's Sundberg who had to play it in, but more importantly, it's Alfredo Reyes who scores from third. An RBI single. This game tied at 3. Well, it's Brian Gonzalez who comes up with a big hit. Matt Latos has allowed 2 runs here in the inning. First pitch swinging from Duplantis, fouled away. Third base side. And the count, no balls and 1 strike. Two outs. Count 0-1 now on Duplantis with a runner on first base. Pitch, that's upstairs. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner on first base. Latos set. Here's the 1-1. Big wave and a miss. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs, but 2 runs in for the FerryHawks. They've tied this game at 3 in the 9th. Or in the 7th. It is, for all intents and purposes, though, the 9th inning. This one, swinging a line drive through the right side for a base hit. They're going first to third. The throw from Lee's a really good one. He got him. Oh, how about that throw from Braxton Lee to Alex Crosby. And he beat the runner who was going to third, Brian Gonzalez. And that ends the top of the 7th inning. Gonzalez can't believe it, but a really strong throw from Lee is in time to get the runner. And another outfield assist from Braxton Lee to end the top of the 7th inning. It's the FerryHawks who score 2, though. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Stick with us.
This is Daryl Thompson, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
When you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Tony McClure of Century 21 New Millennium and his Grand Slam team. The realtor of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs since our first season in 2008. Tony and his team of preferred partners includes Tim Murphy of CNF Mortgage and Steve Scott of the Scott Law Group. Together, they will ensure that your real estate needs are nothing short of a grand slam. The quality service you will receive is Hall of Fame worthy. Put Tony's 41-plus years of experience to work for you. Call or text Tony today at 301-928-1280 for your personal Grand Slam experience. Go Blue Crabs. Did you know that the Washington, D.C. metro area is the 5th most expensive place to live in the entire United States of America? Sometimes finding affordable housing in this area can feel impossible. If you're struggling to find affordable housing, look no further than the Villages of St. Charles by Ross Properties. You can visit them online at villagesatstcharles.com for more information today. Villages of St. Charles, they'll have you safe at home.
This is Joe DeLuca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Oh, the Staten Island FerryHawks put up 2 runs in the top of the 7th. They took the lead, or I beg your pardon, they tied the game at 3. As they needed 2 big runs, they got 2 big runs. But Latos held them off the board for a 3rd run that would have given the FerryHawks the lead. Well, it's Braxton Lee who steps in. 8, 9, and 1 in the order. First pitch to Lee. That's outside. Count 1 ball and no strikes. Glad you could join us on a Wednesday evening in Game 2 of the doubleheader. The 1-0 pitch called strike at the knees. Count 1 ball and 1 strike on Braxton Lee. Lee followed by Yetzko and Sundberg in the inning. 1-1 pitch called strike. Count 1 and 2 now, as Eric Marinez head early in the count on Lee. One, two, came inside and it clips Braxton Lee. The leadoff runner is on for the Blue Crabs. Lee 1 for 2 in this ball game. He was 0 for 3 in game 1 as Ian Yetzko comes to the plate. Ian Yetzko 0 for 2, Joe DeLuca 0 for 3. Blue Crabs have just 6 hits across 6 innings. 3 of those hits come from the leadoff man, Jack Sundberg, whose batting average started at 211 coming into today. It's at 240 now. First pitch, Yetzko shows bunt, pulls back, count 1 ball and no strikes now on the righty Yetzko. Be a little surprised to see the Blue Crabs send Braxton Lee here, but not totally surprised. 1-0 pitch is a bunt back in front of the mound. One play for Marinez. He throws to first, nearly a tough play. It was a tough play. It just barely got. And the runner at first base, Ian Yetzko, and there's now a runner on second with 1 out. Bottom of the 7th inning, the Blue Crabs and the FerryHawks are level at 3. It's Jack Sundberg who will come to the plate. 3 for 3 today. He's driven in 2 runs, and they have intentionally walked Jack Sundberg. That's got to be a good feeling for Sundberg. Someone who was in quite a slump for a while, but they don't even want to face him. They're going to face Michael Wolanski instead, who's 1 for 3 on the day, extended his hit streak to 10 games. But intentional walk to Jack Sundberg with first base open. Blue Crabs and the FerryHawks tied at 3. The Blue Crabs had a 3-1 lead for almost the entire game from the bottom of the 2nd through the top of the 7th. Marinez set, first pitch. Check swing, he went around. The count 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. It's the bottom of the 7th inning. Michael Wolanski digs back in. Takes a couple of partial swings. Pitch, check swing. And now a snap throw down to first base. Not quite in time to get him as Sundberg dove back in safely. For Sundberg here, there's really no reason to be any more than a couple feet off the base. The only thing you don't want is for the runner to run himself into an out. And unless you found yourself in a situation where it's a potential 4-6-3 double play, or for whatever reason he comes into play on the next base, that's the only thing that would matter as far as having a lead here. But the last thing you want if you're Sundberg as a runner that does not have any impact except for a force play is to run yourself into an out, because if you're going to score, Braxton Lee would have had to score prior, and the Blue Crabs would have already won the game. So as a runner, you don't do the Blue Crabs much good. Just stay close to the base. A pitch to Wolanski on the 1-1, a called strike. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Breaking ball might have looked a little off the plate either way. Count is 1-2. Braxton Lee with a lead off of second base. A base hit could score the run for the Blue Crabs. Swan swinging a ground ball through the hole up the middle for a base hit. Rounding third, it's Lee. The throw to the plate is offline. The Blue Crabs walk it off in the 7th. A walk-off win in Game 1 on a 2-run shot from DeLuca. A walk-off win in Game 2 on an RBI single from Michael Wolanski. Wolanski has joined the Blue Crabs, and he's got a batting average upwards of 340 as the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs win this game by a score of 4-3. They led 3-1 for nearly the entire contest, and now win this game 4-3 in the bottom of the 7th inning. They walk-off single from Michael Wolanski. The Blue Crabs have now won 4 straight. They've won all 3 games against the Staten Island FerryHawks tonight, or in this series, I should say. And they go for their 5th straight win and the series sweep tomorrow at 6:30. First, we're going to run through a couple of the key players in tonight's ball game. Well, it was all about Jack Sundberg tonight. 3 for 3, 2 RBIs, a run scored. Michael Wolanski, 2 for 4, and 2 RBIs. Other than that, it was Alex Crosby and Braxton Lee, the only other 2 with hits. Lee was also hit by a pitch. And Collier was 0 for 2. He did walk, and he came around and scored a run. The Blue Crabs win this one 4-3. Let's go through the pitching performance from the Blue Crabs. It was Alex Marathieu who got the start, and it was a terrific start for Marathieu. 3 innings, 2 hits, an unearned run is all he allowed, and he struck out 1. Bradley Roney, 6 up, 6 down. He had 7 up and 7 down in the previous appearance. Andres Briseño goes 1 inning here, and he allowed 1 hit, but he struck out the side. And Matt Latos came in. He did struggle. Went 1 inning of work. He allowed 4 hits, 2 earned runs. He struck out 1 batter. The Blue Crabs, winners of 4 consecutive. They've won all 3 games in the series, a pair of walk-offs, a 2-run home run from Joe DeLuca over the Mini Monster. That gave the Blue Crabs a 3-2 win in Game 1. And then here in Game 2, an RBI single from Michael Wolanski up the middle. And the Blue Crabs win this one 4-3. Blue Crabs won Game 1 of this series 8-3. They win Game 2 3-2. And they win Game 3 4-3. Well, that'll do it from us here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. The Blue Crabs go for their 5th consecutive win tomorrow as they take on the FerryHawks for Game 4 of the series. The Blue Crabs will send Mackenzie Mills to the mound. Mills has had a couple of really strong starts in back-to-back appearances. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. We appreciate everybody who tunes in on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. Austin Rooney saying so long as we sign off here on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. And as always, let's go Blue Crabs.